Okay, good afternoon. Today, the Union County Board of Commissioners and the Union County Water and Sewer District Board of Governors are meeting jointly regarding certain public works and utility topics. In my capacity of the Chair of the Board of Commissioners, I call a special meeting of the Union County Board of Commissioners to order. In my capacity as Chair of the Union County Water and Sewer District Board of Governors, I call this special meeting of the Union County Water and Sewer District Board of Governors to order. The first order of business is related to the Board of Governors, so we will recess the Board of Commissioners portion of the meeting while the Water and Sewer District Board of Governors conducts its business. I move to recess the special meeting of the Union County Board of Commissioners to reconvene in this meeting in about 10 minutes or at such time that the Union County Water and Sewer District Board of Governors completes its business. All in favor? Aye. Okay. The Board of Governors will consider two amendments to the rate and fee schedule. We will consider amendments to certain water and sewer rates and to system development fee. As to the system development fee amendment, there will be an opportunity for public comment after the staff presentation. So if staff would like to...
You're right
back there, huh?
I'm right here. So thank you. Good afternoon, county commissioners, staff, and everyone else that's in the room. I'm just going to take you quickly through sort of where we are and just a refresher as to where, what happened since the retreat in November. Well, obviously, we had our retreat in mid-November, the 13th and the 14th, and we covered a couple of things. Water strategy, wastewater strategy, the capital projects associated with executing those strategies, and the rates and fees necessary to generate the revenue to pay for those things. We covered those in 2 days, and at the end of the second day, the board asked for time. They asked for time to interact with staff, ask questions, really get more comfortable with the information that was presented to them, because we did present a lot of material in a day and a half. What I will tell you since that time is that really nothing has changed. All the information that we've given you at the retreat is the information that's still current today. What we are asking the Board of Governors to do is to look at the rates and fees for the Water and Sewer District. The current rate and fee plan is effective through fiscal year 2020. So that means in June of next year, the current rate plan expires. And so what we are asking for is rates for water and wastewater usage and system development fees for new connections. And so we're asking you to approve those amendments. For the rates, it's a 2-year proposed rate and fee plan. So it would be for 2020 and 2021. The other thing to just make note of is the fact that we are asking for a switch from fiscal years, from a July to a June, to a calendar year. So we are making our changes effective for 2020 in February and for 2021 in January. And why February and not January 2020? Simply because of the timing. We're already into December, and we wanted to have enough time to do sufficient communication with our customer base so that they would be able to have some time to prepare for a rate increase. The rate increases that we are asking for is 15.5% for the first year and 15.5% for the second year. And that summarizes sort of where we are and what the next step is, and that is to for a motion and a vote.
Okay, I will entertain a motion on water and sewer rates and fees.
I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution of the Union County Water and Sewer Rate District Board of Governors for amendments to the Union County Water and Sewer District rate and fee schedule related to water and sewer rates.
Have a motion, any discussion? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 31% increase over the next 2 years. I'm looking through the papers here, and it shows that we're only voting to approve. This is just for, skipping ahead a little bit in our notes, that this is just to approve starting the projects, not completing all the projects that have been asked for. We're being asked for $305 million right now. Eventually, that 3.3 million will go to the total program being 5.78 million. And is that what the, so that's what the already appropriated to date monies, right?
You switched presentations on me, because I see what you're looking at.
Okay,
So I'm gonna-
this one right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch, and so everyone can see what you're seeing.
So this is to build the Yadkin plant.
Stoney, is this appropriate for the Board of Governors meeting? Not, this is a commissioner, we will take this up in the commissioners.
Oh, well, we already will have voted by them, won't we?
Well, we'll vote as commissioners too.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we're discussing what it's gonna cost to do this, and I think 30, and the other day we were talking about 15 and a half, and then now we're at 30, and probably 33% compounding that number, because you're doing a 15.5% on the 15.5% one this year. So closer to probably 33% increase in water and sewer rates, and that doesn't get us to the 900 million. We're a little over halfway there that we were talking about in our planning retreat. So the original number I heard was 40%. That was the ask to do everything, but it was scaled down to 15.5. But again, it's getting back closer to it with 33%. Does the wastewater include the new sewer plant?
In the 2020 and 2021 additions number that's up on the screen, it does not.
So that 14.8 million is just for existing sewer?
Existing wastewater.
The planning,
Um,
planning permit.
It does include some money for planning, but for actual construction of the Lower Crooked Creek wastewater plant, it does not.
So we're swimming, I like Dennis's summary about swimming halfway across the river, and it's too late to turn back, you might as well swim the rest of the way across. So we're about wading waist deep in the river right now with what we spent. We're gonna be deep in the water by the time we do this vote today. So you have the wastewater is only 14.8 million of $122 million sewer plant that you proposed at our meeting. The $122 million sewer plant that's going to be required for the Yadkin water, because we do not have, correct me if I'm wrong, we do not have enough treatment capacity in western Union County to treat the Rocky River Basin water at this point, correct?
We haven't, well, I'm not sure that I would ever state it that way. We have enough sewer capacity to treat the waste that we are generating right now.
Okay, we're going to put 12 million gallons more of water into western Union County, into Indian Trail, Stallings, into that area. That's part of the $248 million for the Yadkin project, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so where are we going to treat that sewage from that 12 million gallons of water?
Well, it's going to go a variety of places. If you look at our treatment strategy, in fact, I think what I'm going to do, I know this may be repeating some of what we saw earlier at the retreat, but I think it's just the best way to do it is to pull it up.
Well, it's pretty simple. Are we going to be able to treat it at Crooked Creek wastewater treatment plant?
Stoney, I've been advised that we need to delay this till we talk to the Board of Commissioners.
Can we get a county attorney to weigh in on that?
Richard?
The motion in front of you is on rates, and so the discussion should be about rates in and of themselves. Now, I'm not telling you this may not affect rates, but you're talking about projects, and what the motion is about is rates.
So I guess I'm talking about projects that we're going to use these new rates to pay for. Are you telling me that we need 33% increases in rates over the next 2 years just to do what we have on the ground right now, without any new projects?
Well, without any new project, no, sir. What this includes in the 2020 and 21 additional rates, the 15.5 and the 15.5 pay for what's in this, I guess, orange column brownish column, right there. The majority of it is, over 80% of it is the Yadkin water plant, it's that
Right.
project. And the remainder of it goes for a variety of water, wastewater, and replacement and renewal projects that we laid out for you at the retreat.
Okay, so if I vote no to the motion, which I plan to vote no to the motion, what happens? Where would we go next? How would we continue on if I vote no and two other commissioners or 5 commissioners voted no
If you
to a
voted,
33% increase in the water and sewer
if
rates?
if the majority of the board voted no, that would mean that there would be no rate increase at 15.5%.
This year and next year?
And this year and next year. So at this point, what would happen is there would be insufficient revenue to support the capital program as we laid out for you at the retreat.
The new stuff?
Oh, just a lot of stuff, not just the new stuff, but some existing, well, I'd have to go back and look, but what is already appropriated, we would continue, we'd finish it. But pretty much, Yadkin would have to stop, because we would not have enough money to build a water plant.
Right, so when staff comes the following years and says to the county commissioners then, whether I'm here or any of us are here, and they say, okay, now we have a need for 50% increase, because we can't do with what we have. See, we had 2-on-1 meetings many years ago about this same thing. And we were told, we were shown a little chart of how if we just approved a 6.5% increase for the next 3 years or so, that we would not have to do this now. We would be taking little bites, a little bit bigger than what we could do, but we'd be taking a little bit of bites. I think Jerry and I were in that meeting where they were showing us that chart, and we were concerned, I think, but I can speak for him, we're concerned about rate increases and what we're charging the ratepayers. But we agreed. You know, I don't think we had anybody on the board that disagreed that to get the Yadkin project going, that we needed the 6.5% increases over those few years. And we did it. And it was supposed to level things out, and we were not supposed to see a massive increase in rates. Now we're talking about a 33% increase or more over the next 2 years. I don't buy that. And I know that, again, I know that some of you weren't even here then when those things were made. I just remember what I was told, and what I was told was not a 33% increase on this project.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I think Commissioner Akins would like to add something.
I don't mean to challenge what you're saying, but my memory is a little different. If I recall correctly, they asked us to approve a 13% increase, at which point we said we weren't comfortable with that, and we only approved 6.5 of the 13 that they recommended. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Does anybody recall that?
I wasn't here, but
You weren't here.
He wasn't here.
But we did show you a chart that showed where the projected rate increase was greater than what the board actually approved for those years, and going back several years into the past.
And if I could, I'd ask that maybe staff find that, not for tonight, but find that chart that we were shown back in 2014, 15. That there was a chart that there was options. There were 3 options. There was a low rate option, I think the mid rate option, and then there was a high rate option. And if we took one option or the other, it affected it years to come. But it wasn't a 15.5% for 2 years in a row. Because again, if we're worried about haggling over 2 or 3%, then I'm sure we would haggle over 15.5, well, 33% increase over 2 years now. And I understand the project's got, some more expensive, but again, at what point do we say it's just too expensive? And if we do it now, it's gonna be even more expensive, and even more expensive, and even more expensive for future boards. So we're gonna be committing future boards. Do we have all of our permitting in place right now? Can we start construction right now? Or within the next year? Do we have all the permitting we need from the agencies to start building the Yadkin?
I think we're waiting for the first permit.
So we're still even waiting on a permit.
That's correct.
that we don't have, but yet we're gonna raise rates on people for something we're not even sure that we can get. And to put water in a plant that we haven't approved, but we're gonna give our blessing to it if we vote for this tonight. So again, this one thing pushes another, pushes another. This is not a decision to be made piece by piece. This is a whole concept decision. And if it's made, and again, I said it at the retreat, I'm voting against it on the principle of it. But if we go in for this, then we go in for all it brings. And it brings high density growth. It brings future rate increases of God knows only what. And it continues and it continues. I don't think our citizens want that. I think our citizens are looking to us to manage growth, not just open the door wide open and increase it even more. None of us hear that. None of us vote for that. You know, I was the only one that voted for a rezoning recently to a neighborhood that would be sending kids to a school that's not overcrowded. And that's fine. That's my decision and I live with it. But this is going to require many of those rezonings, and whether we do them or town does them or whoever does them, if the towns don't do them, the county commissioners are going to have to do them, because somebody's got to pay for this. And you can't pay for it not building houses. This is going to require tens of thousands of houses to be built to pay back, and you're not going to pay it back with $7,400 per house. It's going to be on the backs of the ratepayers today, the people who live here, the people who pay water and sewer bills, to pay this back. So again, if this board does this, we'd have to do it with the understanding that this is going to bring a lot of houses that over the past 20 years, boards have said don't pay for themselves, cause burdens to the schools. We're going to look at school bonds that are going to have to come with it. So this is a whole concept, not a piece-by-piece decision of just would we like water and are we willing to pay anything for it. The concern I have in the eastern part of the county is that I get my water from Anson County. If in the next 4 or 5 years or whenever we get the permitting, if something happens to Anson County and they can't deliver product, I have to wonder where my water is going to come from. Especially if we just continue to build houses without even a hiccup. We heard the other day that there's a commercial project in jeopardy, that they can only do one phase and they can't do the other 2 phases because of the position that we're in now. Not even sure where that's going to turn out. I don't like being forced into decisions like that. We got in that situation back in 2006 and we had complete turmoil. We had people go out of business because we couldn't deliver what we said we were going to deliver. Since 2015, I've been asking this board and asking our staff, should we reserve sewer for commercial projects? No, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. Only to find out now, again, a major, the hospital project is in jeopardy over being able to complete unless we do exactly what we're being asked to do. So there is no choice in it. There's no choice in it at that point. So are we going to continue, or are we going to think about this and find out what are our alternatives? Are we going to be forced into decisions? Are we swimming halfway across the river? Because today you're swimming halfway across the river. Only halfway. We're wading in the water now. We're at the edge. We're getting ready to take a swim to halfway across the river. And like Dennis has said, by the time you get halfway, you might as well go the whole way. So that's where we're at. And I just want to make sure this board understands that. Again, I like high density. I don't have no trouble with high density. I think it has its place and it has its reasons. I'm not against it. And this facilitates a lot of it. And I want us to understand, I want the people watching to understand, I want the citizens of this county to understand what this means for the future of this county. And that the town boards have to understand that R40 don't pay the bills on this. I want the town boards to understand that they'll be replaced and somebody else will do the high density. And if they don't, we got donut holes all around these towns that we're going to have to do it. Somebody's going to have to do it to pay for that. or we're gonna have 50% increases in the water and sewer rates, because we can't manage, again, you're saying we gotta have it for just what we have now, we gotta have huge increases.
All
So-
right, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
We got a motion on the table. If there's no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Next, we take up system development fees. We will not consider amendment to the system development fee. Now consider amendment to the system development fees. We're going to have a staff presentation that allow for public comment related to the system development fees. And then the Board of Governors will vote. Hunley?
Thank you. So you can see from the chart on the slide that the current fees are $1,200 for water, $3,090 for sewer, for a total of $4,290 if you do the two together. We are proposing that the fees be raised to $3,200 for water, $4,200 for sewer, for a combined total of $7,400. The effective date on this system development fee increase would be February 1, 2020, the same day that the rate change would take effect. And this is based on the combined methodology from the analysis that was conducted by Stantec in April 2018, when they first went out and did the review. That's what we are asking you to vote on. This particular piece requires the opportunity for public comment. And so that's all I had.
Okay. Is there any?
clarifying this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that way it's you tell them about it.
Yeah, so the way this is set up is different size water meters have different rates proposed to it. This particular one that I'm showing you now is for the, I guess what I would call most common, the 3/4 inch meter, which is what we use pretty much for homes. It's just like the water rates. There is a rate, so as you go up in size in terms of 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, you pay more in system development fees. So I think if you go up to 6 or 8 inch, it's into the hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, it's over $100,000 for an 8 inch meter. So I think the documents that you have in front of you show you the entire scale. I've shown you just the most, I guess, prevalent meter size that we use.
I have a question. Now, these proposed rates will not be for existing houses if they decide to tap on.
No, sir, it will not be. It will be for new development. So if you have a lot and there's nothing on it, then that's the situation which you would pay. If you already have an existing well or a home, and then you would not be asked to pay a system development fee.
Okay.
Commissioner Rushing?
Are these going to, for example, apartment complexes, do they each pay, they don't, the answer is no, right? They don't each pay a $7,400 fee, correct?
No, I think the answer to that is no.
Okay, do you know what fee they do pay per apartment?
Yeah, I think it would depend on the size of the connection that they have.
So, I guess are we, is each apartment paying $1,000, $2,000, $3,000? I would say that each one of them should pay the same as a home if they have the same number, especially if they have the same number of people in the home.
Well, so if you look at Exhibit A on the documents you have, so if an apartment complex, let's say in the extreme case it had a 6-inch, 6-inch connection, and the 6-inch meter size go along with it, they would pay $106,000 for the system development fee. Whether, I don't know how many apartments that will support or how many units,
That's today.
but that's today.
It would be more than that if you approve it. And dude, that's a good point. What the original study did not distinguish is categories for multifamily. So you're having to use your existing study in order to raise your rates. We have to do a brand new study and bring back any changes on categories, like if you wanted to consider something different for multifamily, And that's why this doesn't apply to individual units within an apartment, because that was not part of the study. We did not have rates specified for multifamily. So what you have here is within the boundaries of the original study.
So I guess give me a estimate. Let's say we're newlyweds and we're gonna buy a house or we're gonna buy an apartment, or move into an apartment. If I get the apartment, then the cost to me would be a lot slower, or?
Essentially, the cost is a whole lot lower because the apartment owner is going to distribute that cost amongst all the units. Whereas if you own a house, you're gonna pay 100% of that cost for that house. Now, we agree that the methodology can be reviewed, but that would require us to go back and do another study, which we do intend to do. But that has to be done. There's a process you have to follow, public involvement, public notice. And so we intend to do that, but right now, that would not be an individual unit. So you're right, they would pay a whole lot less per unit.
Okay, if there's no more comments, is there anyone that would like to make public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of the Union County Water and Sewer District Board of Governors for amendment to the Union County Water and Sewer District rate and fee schedule related to system development fees.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. I move to adjourn the special meeting of the Water and Sewer District Board of Governors. All in favor? Aye. I'll reconvene the special meeting of the Union County Board of Commissioners. The board will now consider action to approve of rates and fees adopted by the Water and Sewer District Board of Governors and certain capital project ordinances related to the water and sewer projects.
Thank you.
You're up again.
So, again, the introduction is the same. We covered the material at the retreat. We're asking the board to, again, nothing has changed since the retreat. As a Board of County Commissioners, we're asking you to take action on three things. Approve the amendment to the district's system development fee. Approve amendments to the district's rate and fee schedule. And this is the new one. Approve the capital project ordinances that were presented to you at the retreat, and we presented for you at that time for your consideration. Again, the information on the system development fees is the same as it was 5 minutes ago, so I'm going to just say there it is. The second piece is I'm going to ask you to adopt the district's 2-year proposed rate and fee plan with effective dates of February 1, 2020 and January 1, 2021 with a 15.5% rate increase for both of those years. The actions that I am asking you to take are to approve 4 capital project ordinances. They're part of the package that's attached, and you'll see the actual ordinance plus a schedule behind it that shows you the revenue going into that particular series of projects or programs, and then sort of what's coming out. Gatkin Regional Water Project is a standalone project/program that's all by itself, so you can see what's involved with that. There are other water-related capital projects, so we put those into a second ordinance. All the wastewater-related capital projects are in the third ordinance, and the renewal and replacement capital projects are in the fourth ordinance, and that should actually say 246, not 356. I think I miskeyed when I put those in. And just it's worth noting that all the ordinances cover the remainder of fiscal year 2020, so for the remaining 6 months or so of this fiscal year, and all of 2021. So effectively, you are authorizing and appropriating funds for public works to go out and work on capital projects for the next 18 months. you're, back to this slide, if you're asking how much money is involved, the addition total $305.8 million. The majority of it, over 80%, is for the Acton Regional Water Supply Project, $248.7 million. There's a little bit for other water projects, some for wastewater, and then a big chunk, $32 million is the next largest piece for basically maintaining the water and sewer infrastructure that we already have in place. You've approved $272.6 million in the prior years. All we are asking you to do, and all you will be doing, is approving the total of $305.8. That's the addition, so that we can continue working on the project. All told, if you add it all up, the program is $578.4 million, and you can see how it's spread out between the 4 capital project ordinances that you have in front of you. That is the summary of sort of what we're asking you to do today as a Board of County Commissioners, and I think there are a number of ways to handle it depending on the board's desire.
I will entertain a motion on system development fees, water and sewer rates, and capital project ordinances.
I would like to take up the approval of the water and sewer district's rate and fee schedule amendments and adoption of the 4 proposed capital projects in one vote. I move to approve the 2 amendments to the Union County Water and Sewer District rate and fee schedule related to water and sewer rates and system development fees dated December the 2nd, 2019, and adopt the capital project ordinances number 243, 244, 245, and 246.
Commissioner Rushing.
How much of the $305 million is for extending water lines to areas that don't have water?
I think in this dollar amount, that we have money in the program for extending the short water line program. We put $5 million in for the short water line program once the current funding and the current backlog is taken care of over the next 2 years. So I think starting in 2022, we would have $5 million going forward. That doesn't show up in this dollar amount because that's the new short water line program going forward, and that's the plan for the future, starting in 2022. I think that's right, John. Did I get that right? 2023. We also have in the plan going forward $5 million for extending water transmission mains into parts of the county that currently don't have it going forward. It's also 2023.
So don't misunderstand, there is money in the budget for the current backlog. What John was talking about is the new ordinance will not take effect until after the backlog is actually completed. So there is funding within this budget to handle, I believe, up to $5 billion each year for the backlog. And once the backlog has been removed, then you will go to the new ordinance, and you will have water line transmission money for the board to consider. But that's not in any one of these 2 capital project ordinances, because that only goes through 2021.
Okay, so of the $578.4 total million,
Roughly about 10 million.
10 million is for doing what we said the Acton project was for. This will be one of the largest transfers of money from existing Union County citizens paying water and sewer bills to the development community and others. And well played to them. They've done a very good job of doing that. The people will complain, nothing will be able to be done about it. But again, voting against it, and we should all really consider what we're doing here and what this means for the future of the county.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Commissioner Simpson.
I'd just like to ask Commissioner Rushing a question. To provide that water to the Rocky River Basin for that rural water supply. Where is that water coming from?
Well, we asked staff to investigate that and heard options privately of Hanson County and Chesterfield County alligator water. We heard options of both those, but we were told at the retreat that neither one of those were ever considered a serious option because it would affect the IBT from the Yadkin plant. So we'll never know. But I think that Hanson County and
Well, I think
Chesterfield can supply enough drinking water for the people who live here and growth and industry. But we can't supply 12 million gallons to Western Union County so that they can continue explosive growth, requiring new schools and those things. And again, I'm not against it, but just whenever the bill comes due, we just all need to be understanding that it's got to be paid. And the way to pay for it is that $7,400 system development fee and new customers and new houses, and even if those new houses don't pay for themselves, as we've heard for 20 years, we're going to have to build them to pay for this.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you, we spent several years with a study to determine alternatives. There was 12 of them. The Anson County was not a viable alternative. The Yadkin Lake Tillery project was the most viable option. And it has always been this has been talked about by boards long before I ever was elected, about the need for a Rocky River Basin water supply. It's a 75-year project, and it costs a lot of money. But we've reached out to do that. I certainly want all those people in Eastern Union County to have that water. That's why I'm supporting this project. And at the same time, you have one of two options. You either plan for growth because we're a sought after community, or you put a sign at the county line that says closed for business. And certainly there's negatives to some of that rapid growth. We saw that, as you said, back in '06. But at the same time, you can't stick your head in the sand and change the dynamics of a region that is desirable for the entire country. So I hear what you're saying. I just think the Yadkin project is long needed and long sought after, and we have it in our hand.
And please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I've took a lot of lumps over the years of being one of the most pro-growth and outspoken pro-growth commissioners in Union County. What I'm saying is that this plan put forward by staff over the last 5 years has always been leading to a sewer plant in northwestern Union County that will require water and will require sewer in large amounts, 12 million gallons, and it all goes over there. So there's really no intention on the first phase to come to Eastern Union County. It's all, even the plan for the Wingate line is later on down the road and not included in any of this, correct?
Not in the 2021
Not in this.
period.
Right. We don't even have our permits in hand to even do any of this. So we really don't know the state. I've watched the state put brakes on things before. I've seen that happen. So again, when Mr. Yee said that this takes courage, it does. It takes courage to do this because it's a massive amount of money that I just don't agree with, that we need to spend the massive amount of money, nor put all the water in one area, which is already begging us not to, and the local boards are being elected to not do these types of projects, yet we're gonna say, if you don't do them, we're gonna do them in your donut holes. because somebody's gotta pay for it. And that's all again, kudos to you guys for voting for the $900 million, because that's what you're voting for. You can't swim halfway across the river. You can't get to 578 and not go the rest of the way. And it will be over, it will be over $1 billion when it's all over, when it's said and done. But, again, I just want to be clear what we're paying for, and again, kudos to you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's called leadership.
it's called leadership,
It's called a challenge, and we
It's called a
accepted the
challenge.
challenge, and we're doing what's right by the county.
but the courage is that you have to look at your neighbors and tell them that they're going to spend more money every month out of their pocket in order to facilitate something they absolutely detest about Union County. Traffic, more residential growth, school crowding, and all the other things. And again, we just let it be said to this day that when it comes about, then we have to pay for those challenges.
All right,
Sure
thank you, sir. All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay. I move to adjourn this special meeting of the Union County Board of Commissioners. All in favor? Aye.